believe I said multiple times on this podcast thus far, suppress it, push it down, don't feel it, you'll be fine. And that seems to have come back to bite me in the ass, because today, that's basically what we're talking about.
It is. We are going to be discussing emotional masking, right? Because it's Halloween.
It is Halloween. Well, it's the day before Halloween.
Yes. Well, some places actually trick or treat the day before Halloween.
This is true. I do know this.
Yes. And so, and really, is there ever a bad time to put on a costume?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you should show up to someone's wedding wearing a Superman costume.
Fair. But it would be fun. I mean, I always love seeing somebody in a good Superman costume. And would it be okay if they were a little kid?
No.
Okay.
No, not to someone's wedding.
All right. So I stand corrected. There might be some it's like 0 stars, do not recommend to wear a costume.
How would you feel watching someone walk across the stage at graduation wearing a Spider-Man suit?
Point taken. And yet, if they're walking across the stage, aren't they already in a costume?
That's not. That's dress code. That's not a costume. Dress code.
Okay. So
if the dress code was show up in a costume, then yeah.
Just doing a little look-de-loo with the time. Don't mind me over here.
I usually don't.
Ouch. Who hurt you, girl?
You are my mother, so.
Yes. And I've always said, like, all of my children, you can all work out your childhood things with your own therapist. Yeah. So, emotional masking. Yeah, like, do you see, I mean, first of all, like, you sort of have already said what it is, which is that pushing down emotions that we might be feeling. And so you do advise people to do that at times, and so do I. So, I'm wondering, like, when do we typically do this, and what purposes, and is it helpful? Is it harmful? All of those things. So let's dive into this.
Where you want to start?
There's so many places. So I guess let's start, like, maybe just talk about, like, what are some of the different masking opportunities that people do, or masking strategies?
Most recently, it was homecoming this weekend.
Ooh, it was.
I had to talk to people I didn't want to talk to, but I did it with a smile on my face.
So you smiled?
I smiled.
So was that an emotional mask?
I pretended to be happy to see them and be interested in our conversation. And I was just like, please stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even like you.
Seriously?
Yeah, some of my ops were trying to talk to me.
Some of your ops? What is that even?
Like, some of the villains of my story. They were trying to talk to me, and I'm just a nice person.
Right. Said everyone. Everywhere.
Says everyone all the time. Okay, I try to be relatively nice.
You do?
Yes.
You are typically a kind person. I think you say things that seem a bit edgy at times, but I also don't know that that's truly
I got a little bite to me sometimes.
Yes. Even your death glare. A little bit of a bite.
Yeah.
So there were people that have not been so nice to you in the past that you ended up having conversations with, that you felt you were putting an emotional mask on, smiling, getting through. So I guess this then becomes the question of, what made you decide to do that versus maybe sharing more authentic thoughts or emotions that you had in the moment? Right? Because we all do this.
Yeah.
And I think it helps for a lot of things. And like I said, there's a point where I think it can become harmful, but there was a point where you decided, like, I'm here at homecoming, I'm seeing lots of people, and I'm just going to smile and get through this, even if I'm talking with somebody I may not know. Because you probably talked to at least 100 people this weekend. At least.
I'm a fan of causing problems, but I was like, there's only so many problems I can cause in one day. So maybe let's just take a break on this one.
Wow. You make yourself sound a little like bad.
It's like fun problems.
Okay,
like chaos.
Fun problems, like chaos.
I caused a lot of chaos.
Really?
We don't need to get into it.
We won't get into that. But there was something that you're like, okay, even though that I may typically do this, now is not the time.
Yep.
And so instead you smiled, you get along, and you moved on and talked to other people.
Yes.
So were you thinking like, okay, it's homecoming for the sake of everybody sort of here, getting back together, like it would be sort of a party kill to not
There
do
was
that.
also just like a lot going on around me. So it's like an op walked up to me and had like a full on conversation with me. I have no clue what that conversation was. I just remember it being chaotic.
Because of everything going on.
Yes.
And so you just smiled and nodded your head.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got through that moment and you moved on. And you kept your dignity and self-respect. And people probably, yeah. So I wonder how many times in life people feel like they are emotionally masking, or if we even are conscious of it, right? Because it can be both conscious and unconscious. Like as I was thinking about this topic, right? Like I was thinking, I do this probably every day, quite a bit, all the time. And I really sort of challenged myself, like, is this a bad thing? Am I, doing this? But I think, right, no matter what role, and I think, let's take about the role of a professional, right? I think a lot of times we have to leave they teach us, leave your baggage at the door. So no matter what I'm feeling in that moment, right? And then hopefully it's just like the day-to-day, any given moment, our feelings can change and vary. But those kinds of things don't really matter right now. I need to come in. I need to teach my classes. I need to get through meetings. I need to sit with clients and be a certain way. And I asked myself, like, okay, so is that maybe me not being authentic? But that's who I want to be. Like, I want to show up. Like my role as a mom, a lot of times I'm thinking about what do you or your brothers need from me in that moment? Because I want to be able to meet that need. And that may mean, and I'm not always good at it, but it may mean I need to put my own frustrations or thoughts or feelings aside to try to attend to what it is you guys have going on and maybe need your mom to show up. So I feel like I do it quite a bit.
I think we all do.
Yeah. What do you think, like, especially like teenagers and younger adults like you, like what kinds of situations do they get into?
I think a lot of people put on a mask to fit in.
Yes. So they feel like they have to say or
do things,
facial features, body language, be a certain way to fit in. Mm-hmm. And people want to fit in to be accepted. That resonates with teenagers especially. So social situations, a lot of those. Any others?
I mean, there's a lot. Like, I feel like a lot of it goes down to social situations. Mm-hmm. It's like family gatherings. You don't like this aunt? Well, too bad. You're sitting there smiling, having a conversation. Trying not to go off.
Right? You just get through that.
You get through.
And you do that. Why? Why do we not go off on the aunt?
Because it just makes things worse.
So sometimes your own thoughts and opinions in situations, like they're not really that relevant. And they're not certainly going to change some people or situations. And so you get through it because it'll be easier. Yeah. Oh, so the emotional masking sometimes is to maybe not cause any waves and make certain we get through this. So it could be a short-term sort of coping skill, like, well, this will pass, dinner will be over, auntie will leave. Not that you have any aunts.
No, I don't have any aunts like that, but it was an example.
It was an example. So, okay. Well, I'm also, you mentioned like social situations, but I mentioned like the role of a teacher, like that we might be masking at times to maintain professionalism. I'm wondering whether students feel like they have to mask.
Mm-hmm.
What's to laugh about?
Oh, I'm just thinking back to that presentation I had.
Okay.
I made it through, and then I left crying.
Oh, is this the one that you cried after?
I cried after. I made it through it.
You made it through it. So there was a lot of masking to get through, like a speech where you have to get up in front of everyone, because that's intimidating for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we mask just to get through an event. Sort of like the same, and I think we've talked about this, like getting through an interview. Not all of us feel confident in the moment, but we sort of put our emotional mask on. We try to not show that we're really anxious in the moment.
Back to students. Having conversations with your professors. Yeah.
You feel like you have to emotionally mask for that?
When you're mad at your professor about something, but you have to go in there acting like, oh, I'm so sorry, da 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 da. When, like, I'm not sorry. That's not my fault.
Wait, are you, so you, First of all, I'm trying to envision a time where you could possibly be upset with your instructors.
Right.
Because most of them are so amazing.
Just because you're amazing doesn't mean you don't upset people.
Wait, did I just hear you correctly? You said I'm amazing.
I wasn't talking about you in general. I was talking about you as in professors in general.
Oh, no, I heard you. Your mama is amazing. We're going to go with that. I'll take it.
Keep talking.
As a mom, I take every little bit.
Just keep talking.
Just keep talking. So, okay, but then that brings up a question. At what point is it you're emotionally masking versus you're just being fake? Right? Because if you're apologizing for something you're not really sorry for.
But like it's what's expected.
Help me understand.
I'm trying to think.
Like you...
Okay.
Ugh.
A professor messes up a due date.
Okay.
So some students turn it in late. Not the student's fault.
No.
Students still get graded down.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that point, what do? You're mad, most likely, because it's not your fault. But what do you have to say to the professor to get your point across? Probably something along the lines of, I know the due date was messed up by like a couple hours. Maybe you sent something out the day before it was the date change. Like, I'm sorry, I should have but like, this is what was going on. Is there any wiggle room? When in reality, you're like, you messed up the date. Why am I having to explain myself and reason with you? Right.
Interesting. So just this, you have your emotional reaction to being earning reduced points for something that you felt was not right because you should have earned the points or not had reduced points because of that. And you're trying to think of how you have to approach the professor or the teacher, because what you want is you want those points back. And so that's even, I think, a trickier situation because it's not just in that social situation that you're just wanting to like get through the moment to move on so that it doesn't run your evening or that you're trying to fit in. But you're actually in that situation, you're talking about dealing with somebody who has some authority over you and has some say, obviously all the say, oftentimes, in your grade. And so I would imagine that would add a lot more emotions to the situation and that you have to really think, how am I going to navigate this? Because what you want is you want to walk away with the points restored.
And just being like, it was your fault. That's not going to get you your points. So
With many. There might be, we might have some. And that, I think that maybe goes back to this concept of relationships in it too, which is, are there people that we don't have to emotionally, like you might feel like you need to put on the emotional mask for some people in some situations, but maybe with others, you might not. Because I've had students come to me and say, yeah, Dr. K, remember you changed the due date, so why'd you do that to my grade? Like, oh yeah, my bad. Oops. I'll change that. Mm-hmm. So they don't, I hope they know, but I bet they still do go through that process of like, okay, how am I going to say this?
Mm-hmm. So is that fake or is that emotional masking?
I think it definitely falls within emotional masking. I don't think it's fake. I think it's actually a sophisticated skill of emotionally regulating and thinking strategically about how to get what you're hoping to get out of the conversation. And, we have those old sayings, like you get more honey. No, you get more flies with honey. Can't even remember them now. Right out the head. But, so sometimes just be nice about it. And that might mean like, hey.
Even though you don't want to be nice.
Right. Because let's face it, we don't always want to be nice to people. But isn't that sort of like we go throughout our day at work, at school, whatever it is, and most of us, we do feel like we need to be a certain way, be that professional, be the kind of student that professors are going to write recommendations for or earn grades or what have you. And then we go home and we can sort of, for most of us, we feel we can sort of be ourselves a little bit more. And I think that goes back to those relationships and authenticity and who and when and where can we be ourselves or don't have to, because that's the other thing is sometimes this is exhausting, right? I'm guessing the situation that you just described, that
was a fake scenario.
It was a fake scenario, right? But I do think a lot of students have been in those situations, right? I'm certain I have been in those situations. And whether it's with a teacher, whether it's with a boss, what have you, that we have to think about how to navigate those, especially when we want to get something, when we're asking for something. And that can be stressful and emotionally exhausting. And I mentioned the whole how to decide the when, where, and with whom we're keeping our masks on and not. Do you feel like there's, for a lot of us, that we have our outlets that right? Because this is that balance of how to know when to put a mask on, which mask at that time, and then when to put down all the masks and just be sort of ourselves and be able to share our emotions in those moments.
What was the question?
I know. I felt like I think I got a little lost in
there. I was just staring.
You zoned out on me. I might have been a little extra like yappy on that. So, like, how do we know when and where and how that it's okay to put those down, that we don't have to have those masks on?
I think you just know. I think it's all about comfort level.
Yeah. The comfort level. Well, and then is this some of the issues? Because let's face it, not everybody does emotionally masking.
This is very true.
We see a whole lot of what I would say, and I'm not saying this is correct, maybe they're just being their authentic selves, but what I would say is some pretty emotionally dysregulated individuals out there who may not know how to cope in the moments that they're experiencing. So then that leads the question, is this a skill? And is it, what? What are you laughing at?
No, I was like, is it a skill? Because there's good and bad parts of it.
That's what, I don't think it's all good or all bad.
So is it a skill or is it harmful?
I think it can be harmful. And I think it can be helpful. I think both are true. Right? I think
so. It's all about how you use it and when you use it.
And how often. And do you ever have moments where you don't have to? Right. So if somebody is like, you got through the speech you mentioned, like you got through that. Because if you didn't, and instead of doing the speech and instead of putting that emotional mask on, the alternative would have been what?
Oh no.
To maybe not get through the speech.
Yeah. It's okay. I think if I hadn't cried at the end of it, I would have gotten a worse grade. I think she felt so bad for me that she gave me a better grade.
And is it that she gave you a better grade, or she saw that despite how you were feeling, right, you were able to get through something that for many people can be really difficult, and public speaking is not for everyone. What I know of you, you would prefer not to.
I would prefer not to.
You're a very behind the scenes sort of person.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's unusual. There's a lot of people like that. And for me, I have no problem typically getting up and speaking in front of large groups. I know. She knows. However, I wouldn't say that it's always easy. I mean, I get nervous at times. Sure. And so, which mask we put on at which times. And so you asked about the helpful versus harmful. I think, it can be helpful. It can help us cope in the short term. It can help us get through these moments. It can help us fit in and maybe connect with people in new situations that we want to. And, but then I think it can be harmful when we bottle things up, when we suppress, which we've talked about, right? It can lead to other issues such as depression, anxiety, aloneness, right? Those senses of isolation, feeling disconnected, disengaged from relationships with other people. So I think both can be true. But I think, do people know when to mask and when to, when to just get through moments, and this is my role and this is how I need to show up in this moment, and it's okay in this moment. But when I'm out of that moment, I can let my guard down. I can okay, for me, it's like taking off my shoes and it's like, whew, I'm all done, right? And you can be your authentic self, and you can attend to any of those ongoing emotions that you may have that might be coming up for yourself. Like, how are we attending to those?
I don't think it's very common that people recognize that they're doing it.
Right.
I think they just do it.
They just do it. And I don't know that for me, because I was thinking about this, it's not that I feel like I'm being fake when I'm masking. I feel like I'm being my authentic self. But I think the big question for me is, how do I want to show up? How do I want to be present in that moment as a teacher, as a clinician, as, a mom? And so it may feel like a mask because I'm putting my feelings aside in those moments, because this is how I want to show up and be with somebody else, whether it's in a relationship or if it's a meeting or what have you. Like, I feel like it's more authentic that this is how I want to be.
So it's more about how you want to present yourself in that moment.
That's a good point, right? Because
you don't always want to present yourself in the way that you're feeling.
Right. Because honestly, those moments that I have maybe been more frustrated. And when I've shown up and I've been like, ugh, I said this, or I said it this way, and I didn't like how I presented myself, right? It didn't feel like, when I think about how respectful people, was I being respectful? Was I showing thought and consideration, and how I shared that information, because I was letting my feelings sort of in the driver's seat with that. It's not always a bad thing to do that. Probably in those situations, it's knowing who I should have said that to. Like, maybe in those moments, not my boss's boss's boss. Didn't might have been okay if I'd said it to my boss or my definitely my colleagues, right? My close colleagues, where that feels safe. but maybe that wasn't the best way to present myself in those situations, right? The others know me better. They know that that's just a snippet of who I am. What are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing. I'm engaged.
You're engaged. You're laughing with your eyes.
I got a mask on right now. I'm trying not to zone out.
Are you still recovering from homecoming?
No need to talk about that.
Well, I guess I'm not supposed to call you out on that.
Mm-hmm.
Day for you for showing up and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You needed the little social butterfly experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. You needed to practice some of that social masking.
Did I?
I think socializing is good for most of us.
But did I need to practice that social masking?
I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like I got that down pretty well.
Oh.
So I don't think I need to practice it.
I just
need to bring you out of retirement for a little bit.
So no, I guess maybe more accurately, I think it's good that you had some of those experiences with some of your friends and stuff, because that's the hard part when you're adulting now, which is you don't have as much time for friends and fun. But we've talked. That's another episode.
It is.
So just like with Halloween, there's a variety of different masks. Like Superman's not the only superhero that we can have. So what
Superman doesn't wear a mask.
Superman does not wear a mask, but doesn't he do the little eye? No, he doesn't. That's Batman.
Yeah, he just wears glasses during the day. And apparently that's enough.
That's enough. But the cape, man. I mean, what else do you need if you've got the cape? Oh, and the underwear outside the pants.
I think that's the older ones. I don't think they do that on
They don't do that
anymore. I don't think so. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen Superman in a long time.
Haven't seen it. So again, different costumes, different masking. So what are some of the different masks that we might assume or that other people maybe take on at different times to, whether it's get through the moment, to fit in, to deal with whatever emotions that they might be having?
The perfectionist. I feel like a lot of people do that one.
Right. Act like they have it all together because they don't want to appear vulnerable or obviously imperfect. But
yeah, I don't know.
Like, what do you think's behind that? The fear of not being seen as enough or good enough?
Probably.
Yeah. I feel like I want to do a PSA, public service announcement. In this moment, yes, y'all, nobody likes perfect people. This is so true. What?
No, I love you. Keep going.
Seriously, though, like, it's very Stepfordish wives-ish. Like, people don't like perfect people. We love people's idiosyncrasies, eccentricities.
But people also don't like imperfect people.
Okay, is it that they don't like imperfect, or they don't like, I wasn't even say hot messes or dumpster fires, but people like me, and I'm that often.
But not you mask it.
What do you mean? Yeah, I probably do. Like, in what way?
You're not always showing all the dumpster fire hot messes.
No.
A lot of times it's hidden. They might be able to see, like, something's up, but you look put together.
Yes, when I'm typically on, whatever it is I'm doing, there are probably the people that I'm closer with get to see sort of the
dumpster fire.
Yes. Okay, so I don't think that is like one of the masks is perfectionism. I don't think it's because of perfectionism because I'm okay with not being perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I do think, though, that maybe that's that expert mask.
I think so.
That you want to be seen as credible.
And put together and professional.
Yes.
I hear a lot about it with this podcast. On the behind the scenes.
Like what? That I want to, that that we want to come across a
She
certain way?
seems to think that I only want this to be entertaining, and she often scolds me saying that I just want this to be entertaining and she wants it to be professional.
And I think we bring the best out of both of us so that it's not so overly stuffy and professional, but that there might be a few nuggets of content and in this.
Yes.
Okay, I own it. And then I went, entertain me now, right? So comedian, hello.
I am. No, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Try to be funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's a common mask. And honestly, your dad and I do that too.
I was in a group chat this weekend, and one person got upset and left, and then another person left out of the blue. And
because of you?
no, not because of me, but like just because in general.
I was going to say, did you give them that glare, Victoria?
No, but then it was funny. And to like hide the fact that people were leaving, and like, because one of the new people in the group chat was like, wait, what's going on? And I was just like sending funny things to distract everyone. It was like, here's a photo of me and Lauren, my bestie from earlier today. And they were like, what is going on? What are you doing? We were like, yeah.
So you were using your sense of humor to distract people from people not fitting in.
Yeah.
People were choosing to leave because of whatever was happening.
Yeah.
Ugh. And so you're just like distracting people with funnies.
I thought it was funny.
And I think that that's really, honestly, like your dad and I, sometimes our humor is not everybody's humor. Like we know that
And it's not always at the right moment.
hardly ever at the right moment, right? Like we knew this, like even when he was in the hospital, recovering from a heart attack, like
They were cracking jokes.
we were cracking jokes. Like we knew how devastating it was, right? Like we knew how. Now, I will say, I don't think we did that when your brothers were in the hospital for months. I don't think we used our sense of humor. I think that was too
Well, they were
volatile.
barely people at that point.
Yes, but they were people. They were born.
They were people, but like
They were 2 pounds, little.
they had too much life to be living.
Yes. So, again, that's the when and where and how and with whom. And yeah, sometimes I've cracked a joke to diffuse a situation and it was not the time or place or with the right
And
people.
I cry and she cracks jokes.
I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to be a better mama. I'll get it right someday, maybe. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. Okay. So we've got the expert and the perfectionist and the comedian. What else do people do?
The victim.
Oh.
Okay, this is probably completely off topic, but I don't know if you've seen the DoorDash drama online right now.
No, there's drama. DoorDash drama?
So this DoorDash driver, it was a girly pop, like 20, something like that. The instructions said leave the food by the door. She walks up to the door. Supposedly it was wide open, even though it sounded like she had originally said that it was only cracked and she pushed it open. There was a guy who was naked from the bottom half down, laying on his couch asleep. She took a video of it and posted it online, and she was screaming that she was sexually harassed and that she was the victim, and her DoorDash account got banned.
Her DoorDash cam?
Her DoorDash account got banned, so she can't drive for DoorDash anymore. So now she's the victim because she got sexually harassed, and then she's the victim because she's no longer can pay her bills.
And this is one of the situations that a lot of us
But
jump
she
into
quite
and judge.
literally posted a video screaming at the camera that she was the victim.
And you think she was not?
I'm not saying that you should have your door open and be naked on your couch when you know that food is on its way.
Right.
But I also don't, like, you should know better than to take a video of it and post it online. Didn't blur it out or anything.
Well, and if somebody said delete, like, directions, because I would imagine being a DoorDash or a delivery person or something, like, there's probably lots of interesting people out there, and I'm using the word interesting very broadly. And yeah, if somebody's door was cracked, I mean, like, that's a Criminal Minds movie, if they still made those in the era of door dashing. Ooh, maybe somebody needs to write to the creators of Criminal Minds, because I think they're still going, but it's a whole nother thing. But
Evolution.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if a door is cracked, nothing good ever comes from opening the door or walking through a door that's open.
Well, like, she was standing on the porch.
Oh, and saw it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, she should be angled to see it. I don't know.
I know. Okay,
I don't give it much thought. Was not looking into it because I don't care. But
and so then the question might be how we reacted, right? Because whether she was a victim or not, I mean, if she says she was,
you stood there, you pulled out your phone, you made a whole video about it,
right? Versus
looking at it, walking away,
right? Like, this is creepy. Let me get out of here. And moving away. But I also think it's so easy to make a judgment sitting from where we're sitting in the comforts of our own business office, and versus if we're actually in that moment where we might feel vulnerable and scared.
I don't know if there's ever a moment that I would pull out my phone and start recording something like that, though.
True. And we all know, and whether this is,
we're not the people to be making judgments, but
we listen and we don't judge. Exactly. Sorta.
No, I judge.
Yes. So,
like, silently.
But I think what you're saying, though, the person who plays the victim role, like this victim masking, I think this happens a lot with, and it's not just one situation where it may or may not have been a victim, but somebody who constantly has a story, right? Not that this has ever happened to me, but I have heard other professors or teachers talk about the student who always has an excuse as to why they could not get their homework done. Sometimes by the 12th grandparent who, passed away in 6 months. Like, sometimes we're starting to go like, is it, So we've got the victim role that people put on a mask, and there could be different reasons people are using that. One, to engage people's sympathy and attention, and that might help maybe to avoid a consequence that they might otherwise have. Yeah. What other roles?
No.
People pleasing. That's a mask people put on.
Mm-hmm. That's the fakest mask there is.
In what way?
It's just, you can tell when you're just being a people pleaser and saying what everybody wants you to say. You can tell. It's annoying.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that some people can do it in a way like that they truly want to please other people, but it's sort of up at their own cost? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what you like. Maybe pleasing people can be helpful, right? If you're a waitress, you probably want to please your customers to the extent you can. So there might be some roles that you do engage and wear that mask, whereas other times, or when it's a sort of a defense mechanism or a way of being where I do this at my own sake, then that's not very helpful. I think that's where it starts to become harmful. Mm-hmm. So the people pleasing. Ooh, the chameleon. Somebody who sort of changes with whatever situation is going on. Mm-hmm. With the masking. And again, that can be adaptive to a certain way when you've got a lot of different situations, social situations that you're navigating. Which hat are you wearing in the moment, sort of thing. And again, how are we doing that? Mm-hmm. I would say as moms, we have to, I know you're like, what abs? You'll get it someday.
No, I get it.
Yeah. I think especially when kids are younger.
Yeah.
Right? Because as parents, you do have to put aside a lot of what you're feeling in the moment to help, especially when kids are younger, they're navigating. Like, you got to help them. You got to regulate for that. So the chameleon. Ooh, overachiever. You've known a few in your life?
I'm sitting across from one.
Me?
Yeah, but like, me too.
I was going to say, hello.
Yeah, I got
Hot kettle.
I got 2 minors by accident. Let's be so for real here right now.
Yeah, I got my psychology degree by accident. Yeah. I mean, not accident. I mean, I took the courses, but it's like, you only have one more class to be a major. And it's like, oh, okay.
I took the courses thinking that I wouldn't be able to take enough classes to actually get the minors.
Right, but I enjoyed the classes.
Yeah.
And that should have told me something. Like, any chance I had to take an extra class, it was in psychology. It's like...
And now this is what she does.
And that's what I do. I'm still waiting to find out, right? Like, did I ever tell you I got my, gun safety course? Oh, yeah, because I thought I was dropping the boys off for their Boy Scout thing to take their gun safety course.
And you couldn't drop them off? You had to stay?
I had to stay. So I was like, well, I got my psychology degree by accident, and look what happened. So I still haven't seen any fruits from that yet.
I don't think you will be, but you
never know. You never know. So how do you see, because I do think overachieving, we see those masks on, and certainly I think looking at a lot of students in college, we see this a lot. And then certainly in grad school, usually as people progress into grad school with each degree, sometimes we see a little bit even more of that.
Oh no, freshman year, I was a part of like 15 different clubs and organizations. Sophomore year, I don't think I attended any of them. Yeah, I said, I'm done. It was a little bit of people pleasing. It was a little bit of overachieving. I was done.
And so you went back to more of the things that were important to you and that mattered to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that maybe an example of how sometimes we, as we're thinking about what we're taking on and what we have to do to mask and how much is too much versus can I pull back so that I can be more of my authentic or focus more in these areas that feel more natural to me?
Mm-hmm.
I just used too many words, didn't I?
I used a lot of words and my brain shut down. So yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. I need to speak in 10-second reels to you, don't I?
Maybe not 10 seconds, like 15.
15.
Anything under like 15 or more words, that's a lot.
Wow.
For today, let my brain catch up. Okay, the coffee did not do a whole lot.
And I do think, I don't know about you, but with the weather changing and we're about to experience some time change here, I think we are seeing people dragging a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. 15.
I woke up ready to go this morning, and then by the time, like within a half an hour, I was like, let me go back to bed.
And not enough coffee in your day?
No. Only 3 shots so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
The day is only halfway over.
Yeah.
Then we've got other roles. So far we've talked about the overachiever, the perfectionist,
People pleaser, victim,
the expert.
Yeah. I don't know what else.
The chameleon.
Oh, the chameleon. Mm-hmm.
So I think another role is like, they call it sort of like the stoic, where you just like, it doesn't matter. You minimize the impact of anything. Like it doesn't matter. And so you just go with sort of like this thoughts only and sort of push down all the emotions, which I think sort of is in and of itself a lot of what we think of with emotional masking. But if people are coming out as a clown instead, then that's, or the clown comedian, however we want to word that.
Everyone has their own mask.
Yes. And not just a mask. How many of us put on multiple masks a day?
Yeah.
Right?
Depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation. Well, and I know that we've also talked about momming somewhat. So I think that masking in the caretaker role, right? That what mask do we have to put on to just take care of others? And you probably even had some of those experiences sometimes when you helped with Randy.
Yeah.
Or the dogs. Do you ever feel, as a dog mom,
Oh, gosh.
do you feel like you have to put a mask on with them? Or not with dogs, though. Don't they just sort of love you as you are?
I mean, sometimes you're really mad at them. Like, Francie's been sick. She's throwing up everywhere. You don't want... It's like, I told you to get off the rug. You could have at least done that. But, like, my poor baby, you know?
Right. I think that's just empathy, right? I don't even know that that's a mask. Like, sometimes we just sort of... Like,
You have to be like, it's okay. But you could have got off the rug.
right, but we know they're sick and they're not thinking of that. Right? Now, when they're on the fence about to jump it and they're looking at you before they leap.
Keely, she will go and walk the freaking fence line on top of it. And
Like a tightrope, y'all. Like a tightrope.
Like a balance beam.
Mm.
And then you yell at her to get down. She just looks at you and gets down on the other side. It's like, girl. Like, yes, you're being adorable, but get back over here. What are you doing?
Right. And I don't even know that a mask is involved in that. I mean, I think that's just...
Sometimes you're like, she's adorable, but wait, I gotta be the parent here. You're being adorable, but let's... what you're doing is bad. Right. So I'm going to suppress the whole adorableness and be mad at you.
Oh, so you have to put on the stern authoritarian, even though you want to laugh because it was so cutesy.
I just want to take pictures, but I can't encourage the behavior.
Fair.
Yep.
Yes. So that is, again, showing up for what they need in the moment.
That's putting on a mask.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's what happens with dogs.
Yeah. And then there is, a control freak. Like sometimes people like have to be in control. And that's a little bit different than I think perfectionism, but like I think sometimes the fear of being powerless might be coming into play with that one. There could be some other things with that. And then
just wanting things to go the way you want.
Right. That and that could have some underlining perfectionist tendencies too with that. Ooh, what about the rebel mask? People just wanting to be a rebel. Did that one hit a little?
I think I have more of a nice girl mask than I do the rebel mask.
I agree. I think you want to be a rebel sometimes. No?
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just say things how it is, and I do whatever I think is right. So whether it's being a rebel or just having a differing opinion.
Right. Well, I mean, and I think we might know some people too that like that's the role, like especially in a family or in the class. Like you always, if something's being said, it's like, nope, the one hand goes up, but it's like they're going to try to make us think in different ways. So, yes. And like a lot of times in our families, we'll see that there always seems to be a rebel or types of things. So, and whether that's a mask to, or whether that's a role we take on. And I think that's another thing. Like some of these, what's the difference between a mask that we take on and we take off versus maybe a personality characteristic that we pretty much wear all the time and have no ability to slip in and out of.
I think that's the whole difference. The ability to slip in and out of.
So that's the difference with masking is we have that ability to
turn it off,
switch, turn it off, sort of see what maybe the situation calls for with that. Yeah. as I was thinking about this too, I was thinking back to a time like, was there a time that, I mean, obviously I said I feel like I wear different masks, different situations throughout the day. And I feel like it's more about me choosing how I want to show up and be present in those moments. But I was thinking about a situation where this sort of came up. And when I was your age, maybe a little younger, back in the day when the dinosaurs were here.
God, I know you're not that old.
All right, but it was before cell phones.
The 90s.
It was before cell phones.
It was in the 90s.
Before this all became. But I did a job interview.
Okay.
At a video store. I know.
Okay. Keep talking.
That in and of itself could have just dated me. I didn't have to reference dinosaurs, right? Like,
yeah.
They had the VHS videos you could go rent. And you had to rewind, or
we
you
had VHSs when I was a child.
We did. You watched a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had video stores. You've been to video stores.
Been some.
Yes. So it's not that long ago.
Right.
And so I had applied for a job there, and I got an interview. And I was in college, and I went to the interview, and thought I was doing pretty well with it, but and then they asked me a question. And she was like, which is more important to you, to be honest, to be loyal, or to be something else? I don't remember what the third one was, but there was 3 choices. And, before I answer, what would you answer?
Loyal.
Thank you. That's what I answered. But I was wrong.
There's no wrong answer.
She told me I was wrong. There was a right answer.
There's not a right answer. It's which one is more important to you.
No, but if I was getting a job, which one of those is more important to you to have in this job?
Well, if you're loyal to someone, you're probably honest with them.
That's what I think. Hello. Thank you for reaffirming.
You don't have to be honest with every single person you meet. If someone walks up to you while you're working there and goes, "So where do you live?" Are you going to tell them where you live?
It depends on who it is. I mean, I'm trying to think back in those days. Was it cute?
Serial killers. Come on.
And back in those days, we didn't know a lot about that. We took our chances. You guys know more now because of probably some decisions we may have not made very well back then.
Okay.
We may need to cut this part.
No, I think this part's so good. It is Halloween themed.
Oh my goodness. So yeah. So, okay, but no, I was told I gave the wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer.
But she made me feel like it was wrong. But I did mask in that moment. I smiled and was like, okay, but I totally disagreed for the same reasons that you said, right? Because I'm not going to be honest with everybody who comes into the store. Like, if somebody comes in like, hey, how are you doing? What's my answer? I'm fine, right? Don't we say this? That's a huge masking, right? Like, I'm fine when maybe I'm falling apart, when maybe I'd gotten a really bad grade on something, or somebody that I was close to just gotten into an accident, or whatever it was. But if somebody comes into the store while I'm working and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Mm-hmm. That's a mask, you all. And I think this is what we're talking about. We wear this all the time. And I don't think that that's a wrong thing to do in that moment with somebody I'm not close to. Now, if I can't be vulnerable with maybe some of my best friends who are like, hey, I noticed something's up. What's going on? How are you? Now, if I still am like, I'm fine, and have no one that I can be vulnerable with or to share things with, then that might be different. But on the job, I am totally going with loyalty because I will always act in the best interest of my relationship, right? My family, my employer, right? My boss, whatever. I have their back. I am going to act in a way that reflects well, or that whatever, that I want to show up and be that way with other people. I don't need to dysregulate in front of a customer when I have the ability to put a mask on and say, it's all good. How are you doing?
Takeaways.
So my takeaways when I think about emotional masking, I think is it's actually a sophisticated skill that we learn to use to decide how we want to show up in different spaces with different people based on our roles. And so it can be really helpful at times as we learn to navigate life, fit in, read the room, decide how we want to respond. And yet I think it can be really harmful if we're not recognizing what some of our feelings are, using some of those as maybe cues, like maybe this isn't a space that I want to be showing up in all the time. So some of that anxiousness that we might be feeling might help us maybe when we want to walk away from different situations, So, and then, how do we, when are we making space to deal with all of those emotions? What about you? What are your takeaways?
Just that it can be a skill or it can be harmful.
Yeah.
That's all I got. You said it pretty well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So
I don't know how much of that was actually a compliment. I was just stating the fact.
I can still say thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
All right.
Ugh.